Initially, when I started to look into ideas, I didn't really want to reinvent the wheel, reinvent something. I just wanted to do something that was working really well. When you start a business or when you start something, you need to have like some kind of motivation to do it. Q4 is just like any other semester. I actually started using BQool very early in my business. And why I started using it is because I think it is the most popular repricer on the market right now.
Hi everyone, I'm Pauline, and today we are thrilled to receive our guest Robert from Montreal, Canada. He will share with us his experience as a seller on Amazon and as a user of BQool. Bonsoir Robert, how are you?
Bonsoir, Pauline. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yes, our pleasure. So Robert, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Robert Genji. I'm 28 years old. I'm born and
Yes.
raised in Montreal, Canada.
All right.
I've been doing Amazon for around a year and a half now. A little bit background on myself. I've been studying engineering and graduated in 2018.
All
I
right.
worked in a railway market for around 3 years and a half
Oh,
and decided to go full time on Amazon by the end of June 2022. So I've been mainly because I'm in Canada. I mainly sell in the Canadian marketplace, and
all
so
right.
today
Yeah.
I'm a seven-figure Amazon seller, and I've been expanding a little bit in the United States as well. So I'm doing around like 50% online arbitrage and 50% wholesale right now.
Oh, all right. That's great. And what made you get into the e-commerce business?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think since I was very young, I always wanted to have something for myself, to have my own business,
Yes.
especially
Mm-hmm.
because my father was an entrepreneur since I was young. And so I really enjoyed the idea of having control over my work schedule, and more specifically, why I chose the e-commerce space is because I also desired to a way to work from anywhere I wanted as well, and e-commerce
Yes.
was something that I could do it with. Initially, when I started to look into ideas, I didn't really want to reinvent the wheel, reinvent something. I just wanted to do something that was working really well, take
All
a
right.
small share of it, and make a living out of it. And e-commerce was exactly that, and the more specifically, the selling space was exactly that. So I'm really happy that I found this business.
All right. And how did you start your Amazon business? And I think you are not committed full time to it, right?
So right now I've been
Yes.
committed full time since a year now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But how I started Amazon, so back then in 2022, around 2022, I was looking for business ideas. I really wanted to quit my job and go full time. At that
Yes.
time, I didn't know Amazon, so I was looking on YouTube's for business ideas and everything. And I remember
Yes.
one day one of my friend actually invited me to go study with her in a coffee shop. She was still at school, and I was there just to look on YouTube to watch like ideas that are like interesting for me. And I
All
remember we had
right.
like this conversation about her finding some old video games that she completely forgot about and that
Oh,
she was reselling for profit actually.
all right.
And that struck to me because I was like, oh, I didn't think about this reselling stuff. So the same week I decided to go back home and look into my old stuff, and I found this. I still remember it's my first flip. I found this Pokemon game. It was a GameCube.
Oh, yeah. Smart.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
GameCube
I see.
because I was a big gamer when I was younger, and I
Oh,
I saw this Pokemon game that my parents actually bought me like 15 years ago, and at
yeah.
that time it was around November. So
I,
I looked it up on eBay and I found out that this game was selling for around $200
oh,
Canadian
yeah.
for an old game,
Dollar.
And I
Oh, okay.
didn't,
Oh,
yeah, I didn't really believe it. But at that time, it was Q4 and the prices were at the peak. Demand was at the peak. So I
yes.
just listed it without thinking too much of it. And as you can guess, the game sold after a couple of days.
Yeah, of
And
course.
and yeah, and I
Collector
directly,
vintage.
yeah, all the vintage. I didn't know about that. So when it sold, I was like, oh wow, I found like I got instantly hooked into this game. And I was like,
Yes.
okay, this is something that I could like make it maybe work. So I started to scanning like Facebook marketplaces for opportunities for the like if there's people that were selling games that were like
Yes.
underpriced and flipping them on eBay. I also did some like iPhone flips for a month. And I even went to some Amazon return stores to see if there's any opportunity that I could flip also on eBay.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I did that for around 3 months, and then fast forward to around January, I still didn't know about Amazon and and this business in whole. So I remember I had this conversation with one of my colleague about like my side gig that I had. I was pretty happy at that time. I made reasonable money, but the only thing is the deals were very limited. You can find good deals, but it's not consistent. The quantity
Oh
is
yes,
also,
true. True.
yeah, the quantities are also limited as well. But I was very happy because I gained a little bit of experience, especially in bargaining and dealing with people, and having my internal processes in place. So having like folders for pictures, having an Excel file to track everything down.
Yes.
Yeah, so I talked about it about with my colleague, and he told me about this business called Amazon KDP. And
All
at
right.
that time, I didn't really know what was it, but he told me when he explained to me, I was really interested because it was a low barrier entry into this business. And basically, for people that don't know what Amazon KDP is, it's basically creating covers for low content books. So yeah, it intrigued me a little bit. So what I did is the next week I started to search on YouTube to know more about it, and then this is when I stumbled eventually on the channel which was called Fields of Profit, which is run by
Mm-hmm.
Warner, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
completely changed my life. I don't know if you know him,
Oh.
but
Yeah, we know him. Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
maybe you got him already on the show.
We had some videos with Warner. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, we are very familiar with him.
yeah, he taught me everything on his video. So he was at that time he was talking about online arbitrage and how you can
Yeah.
sell stuff branded name products on Amazon, which I didn't know. But I remember watching a couple of his videos and it instantly struck me. And I was like, this is something that eventually I can scale up and
Yeah.
eventually
True.
hit my goal, which was to quit my job. And so I started doing that for around 6 months.
All
And
right.
eventually I was able to get close to my day job salary. And eventually by the end of June, I went full time on Amazon. Fast forward to the day, I'm still extremely happy that I made this decision to quit the job and to focus more of my time on Amazon.
Yeah, that's great. And some of our viewers are still on the fence about selling on Amazon. Would you say that selling on Amazon is worth it? And if so, do you have some suggestions to help them kickstart their Amazon journey?
Yeah, so honestly, for me, it was totally worth it. Again,
Yes.
I was able to quit my job. I have more time
Yes.
for me. I'm more flexible with my time. But again, it's not something that is made for everyone, of course. This
Yes. True.
business has you have a lot to learn in the beginning, and a lot to learn means a lot of time that you have to commit initially
Yes. Very
to learn.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, just to learn the basics and how everything works.
Mm.
And I think the major idea of people in this doesn't know Amazon is that you can get rich really fast over time, which is not the case. Maybe it can
Yes.
happen like for 1% of people, but not for the 99 other percent. However, I would say that if you stick to it and you commit to it and you don't quit, I would say over 90% of the time you're going to be successful in this space. But yeah, so if you decide to put in the time, Amazon, I think, is one of the best way to get into e-commerce. They make everything so easy, and
Yeah.
don't listen to people that say that it's over saturated right now. I think
Oh
even
yeah.
when
True.
yeah, I think even when I was watching videos in 2021, I was seeing
Yes.
people saying the same stuff that in 2017 people were saying that it's not worth it, it's oversaturated. Maybe it is for some categories, but in my opinion, I think that arbitrage will always be there, and opportunities are always created every day. So new brands, new trends are always there. So you can always find a way to make money. And especially on Amazon, there's not one business model. There's so many ways you can make money on this
Yeah,
platform,
exactly. Yeah.
and you won't get any exposure from the customer, as much exposure from customers as on this platform. So definitely worth it. Yeah, so if you take baby steps, you can grow this business as much as you can, honestly.
And for newbies who have recently started selling on Amazon, would you suggest them to get into online arbitrage or retail arbitrage?
This is a great question. I think that
Yes.
most people, like the major idea for most people is that you need to get into retail arbitrage because of the idea of, okay, if you make a mistake or if the product doesn't sell, you can return them to the store, which is a great
Yes.
idea. I understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in my opinion, in 2023, most of online retailers have the same kind of policy or maybe very similar. So like maybe you gotta pay somewhere between like 15 to $30 to return their stuff. But even then, there's online stores that you can that have physical stores like Walmart, Canadian Tire. This is a store in
Yes.
Canada.
Oh, okay.
Michaels that have physical stores. Even if you buy online, you can return them for free at the store. Not only that, the thing is when you start, you
Yes.
basically don't know what you're looking for. So what happens is people are going to go to the store and then think that, okay, I'm gonna scan all the categories, all the products, and I'm gonna eventually find something, which is most of the time not true, especially in Canada, in my experience. Maybe in the
All
USA,
right.
but in Canada it doesn't work like that. And so you're gonna lose time doing that. You're gonna lose money with gas, and especially in the beginning, I think every hours count. And when people don't have the proof of concept that this business can work, they will eventually get discouraged very fast if they don't find something. So conversely, online stores, if you don't find something, you scan the Walmart's website, you don't find something, it's okay. You just click the X, you close the window, you open another one. It took seconds. You didn't lose much time. You didn't lose money from gas,
Yeah.
and you continue sourcing. And beside that, you have like almost unlimited possibilities that you can reach out. Come on, how many websites you can look for. Physical stores, you're limited to your local area. Statistically, find be like it's going to be more probable that you're going to find products sourcing online than in retail store. And
Yeah.
so if I can give like a couple of tips for people that are just starting, what worked for me, maybe it doesn't work for other people, but what I did initially was, first, honestly, you don't know nothing, so be a sponge. Soak as much
Okay.
information as possible. Look up to as much videos as you can. I still remember I was when I found out this business model, I was so obsessed.
Yes.
I was like watching, I don't know, 10 videos a day. In my car, I was listening to podcasts, no music at all for a year. And yeah, I was just soaking information, and I
Yes.
really liked it. I honestly enjoyed it because I knew that every time that I was in the car, or every time that I was listening to a podcast, I was getting close to my goal because I was soaking so much information. Secondly, I would say get the right tools. So for me, what worked well initially, and for the tools
Yes.
were not too expensive, it was get Keepa and Seller Amp.
Yes.
Obviously,
Yeah.
I think those are the tools that are the most popular in the space. Why? Because they are not very expensive and they are extremely powerful to find like stuff in the beginning. So for people who doesn't know what are Keepa and Seller Amp, so Keepa is basically a tool that is going to give you the historical data of a product. So it's going to give you the
Yes.
price over time. It's going to give you how much it's sold over time, and it's going to give you the number of sellers over time.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
and then you're going to use Seller Amp in conjunction, which is basically a tool that's going to help you to find products that other sellers are selling. So why it's very powerful is because if the seller is selling a product, you know that he is making profit. So you know that this
Oh.
product can be purchased from any supplier, I don't know, around the world. that can give him a reasonable cost that he can then
Yes.
sell at this price on Amazon and make profit. So both work together. I would get these in the beginning, but then there's a lot of information. There's a lot of tools online. So
Yes.
pick what you think is best for you. But those were the one that worked for me. Then I would say when you're gonna start, don't spend too much money. So what I mean about that is start small. Obviously, you're just
Yes.
starting. You don't know what's gonna work. So start with an amount that you are capable to lose. So you don't get discouraged eventually if you lose all your money. You know that it's money that you already lost, and it's money that you're gonna use to learn. So start small.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe it's a little bit more like advanced or not, but get the right Google Chrome extensions. So
Yes.
in this business, especially, the more you put in, the more you get sales. So the more money you make, the more you can reinject in the business. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have a credit card, use it. Obviously, don't go crazy on it. Use only what you can afford to buy,
All right.
because the credit cards are going to give you cashback bonuses or points. Install the extensions Rakuten Top Cashback for extra money. So basically, they're gonna give you like percentage of the amount that you purchase on a partnered website. And I would say for the Canadians especially, we have an application that the Royal Bank of Canada opened, which is Ampli, which is written
All right.
AMPLI, which is
All
basically the
right.
same concept as Rakuten. You're gonna get
Oh.
like cash back from their partner website. So
All
in this
right.
case, you'll be able to triple dip. So you're gonna get cash back from Rakuten, from your credit card, and from Ampli, which is extremely powerful because it's again more money that you can receive in your pocket to reinvest in the business.
All
And
right.
lastly, for the extensions, I would get Honey and Cooper, which are basically like discount coupon finders. So you can get the best discounts right now on your stuff. After you get like a couple of sales, I will also highly suggest to delegate a lot of your task. So get a prep center as soon as you think it makes sense. Get a
Yes.
VA that will help you in your internal processes in your sourcing. And lastly, what I would extremely emphasize on is to
Yes.
join communities. I would
Oh
say
yeah.
join communities, meet people, don't be scared to ask questions. That's
All
how
right.
I grew as fast as I could. I asked questions. I watched people asking their questions as well. And also when you're in these groups, you can start
Yes.
to ask more specific questions, that you will not find on the internet. And you're gonna find
Yeah.
people that
It's.
are like 10 steps
Mm.
ahead of you. So they know exactly what's going on, where you are, how to navigate you out of there.
All right.
Yeah.
And do you have any suggestion for Q4 for our sellers?
Honestly, I did Q4. I've been selling for a year and a half, so I did only one
Yes.
Q4. So
Yes.
I still have a lot to learn, honestly. But from my experience, I made a lot of mistakes last year. But from my experience, if I have like some strategies to give, it would be the use Keepa for your advantage. So look into
Yes.
the old Q4s, previous Q4s. Watch how the prices changed, watch how the demand changed, and try to estimate the future. So try to like let's say there's products that are not very profitable right now, but you see that previously the past two Q4 it was selling very well. Stock them, keep them, and send them only like maybe in November or December. Toys were very good, extremely good. Don't buy too much, of course, but
Yeah.
everything that is related with toys will sell very well. You can use also Keepa tracking. So I
Yes.
don't exactly remember the name, but you can track listings with Keepa. So you can ask to tell you when the prices will go down. And I use
Yeah.
that especially for Legos.
Oh.
So how exactly it's, Legos have like a life cycle, and
Yes.
sometimes you will find that on the Lego website, the Lego is retired. So
Yes.
even though it's retired, you're gonna find that Amazon is in and out of stock of this Lego. And what is good
Mm-hmm.
about it is they usually sell it at a very close price as the retail price.
Oh.
So as
Yeah.
we all know, when Legos are retired, there's no more production of the set, the price shoot up and you can make a lot of money. So if you can put a tracker on the listing that tells you when Amazon is going to be on in stock, you're gonna be the
Yes.
first to purchase this Lego set at a very low cost and re-put them exactly on the same listing for sometimes double the price. So it's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah, I see. Very
And
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, and honestly, if you already have a little bit of experience in the space, Q4 is just like any other semester. The only thing is like you just have to double down on what is already working well, you know. So
Yes.
don't try to reinvent yourself. If something is working right now for you, just buy more stock. Be careful to not be out of stock when the demand is there.
All
And if I
right.
can add also,
Yeah, sure.
what I found is by the end, because the demand is going to go up, but by the end of January, the demand is going to go down, obviously, naturally. So people
Mm-hmm.
are going to panic. New sellers are going to panic. So a lot of listings are going to tank in price. So don't be caught up
Yeah.
in that. Make sure that you buy the right amount of inventory, but when it comes to restocking, maybe around the end of December or January, make sure that you don't overstock, because it's not that maybe it's going to tank, it's going to tank for sure. Like new
Oh, yeah.
sellers are, when they're going to see that they are not getting as much sales as they used to a couple of weeks ago, they're going
Yeah.
to bring down the price, and yeah, you're going to lose money because you're going to sell your products for a loss.
Are you currently using BQool and why have you chosen BQool?
Yeah, so I actually started using BQool very early in my
Mm-hmm.
business, and why I started using it is because it was, and I think it is the most popular repricer on the market right now. Fields of Profit was using it, and I
Oh, yeah.
honestly really
True.
enjoy using it. The interface is really simple. I really liked the fact that you got the AI repricing strategy,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
very popular. Yeah.
yeah, so which is very easy to use. You just set it up and let it run. And I think I'm going to use it for my United States marketplace. I referred the tool for maybe 5 to 10 people, and honestly, everyone told me when they started using it, after a couple of days, they saw an increase in their sales. It makes a difference using it and not using it.
And do you have any pro tips for using BQ Repricer to help sellers maximize their buy box win rate or profit?
I just use the AI equalizer. I don't break my mind.
Okay.
I just put the minimum, the maximum, and
Yeah.
I let it run. To
Right.
be honest, what has worked really well for me, I don't know if it's a tip, but it's to not be very lazy and to think that the tool is going to
Yeah.
be competitive for you forever.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is every day I'm gonna go in, watch all my ASINs. It's gonna take like maybe 15 to 20 minutes a day, but I'm gonna scroll in and scan all my active ASINs to see if
All
my
right.
minimum were hit. If so, I'm gonna reprice them competitively according to my competitor price. But also, it has to make sense. I mean, if my competitor has like 5 units in stock and he tanked the price for like 30%, I'm gonna wait. But if I see that he has 100 units in stock and he has like a wholesale price that he was able to get, I mean, I'll take the loss. You know, as long as not all my ASINs are like that, one or two, it's okay. It's part of the game. You take the
Yeah.
loss, you take your money as fast as possible, and you re-inject them in the business as fast as possible.
And what qualities or mindset should a seller possess to be a successful on Amazon? Do you think
I,
that sellers needs to be patient and realistic?
of course, they have to be patient. They have to
Yes.
realize that it's not something that you're gonna get like rich over time. But there's a quote from Denzel Washington that I really like, especially
Ah.
for businesses. It's like without commitment, you will never start, and without consistency, you will never finish. So
Oh.
how I
Yeah.
interpret that myself is when you start a business or when you start something, you need to have like some kind of motivation to do it in the beginning to
Yeah.
start it. And
True.
for me,
True.
the motivation that I got was I really wanted to quit my job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe people will have another motivation. They want to make like $1,000 more every month, or I don't know. They have their own. So you're gonna have the initial motivation, but then they have
Yes.
to be consistent. So to do that, you have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this business
I
is
see.
not something that changes very fast. It's like you learn the basics and then you just have to repeat them. So you repeat what is working well for you and you repeat them as much as you can. It just comes to how more efficient I can repeat these steps and how I can delegate these steps to save me more time and to focus on other stuff, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and talking
Yes.
about other stuff, it's you gotta prioritize. Also, you gotta be able to prioritize the task that you're gonna do. Focus on the good stuff, especially in the
Yes.
beginning. Focus on what is going to grow the business, what is going to make you more money, and then once you master it, delegate it, and move on to the other big thing. Maybe a last thing that I can add to it is you gotta accept, especially in this space, Amazon is like you're selling on the platform of Amazon, so you need
Yes.
to be able to accept that sometimes they're not going to be fair with you. They're gonna delist your products, or they're gonna maybe try to deactivate something in your account,
Oh yeah,
and
sure.
it happens, setbacks happens, but you just have to look at the bigger picture and realize that at the end of the day, I still have my business, knock on wood, and I'm just gonna continue doing what I'm doing and continue growing and not be bothered
Yeah.
about it.
The last question is we know that you are very active on Twitter. Do you promote anything related to BQool on it, or are you using Twitter?
Yeah, so Twitter, I got it because I just wanted initially to journal my process, my adventure in the e-commerce.
Yes.
I also maybe wanted to meet new people in this space. I met like so many great people in this space. I learn a lot there. I
All
ask
right.
so many questions to people there also. Right now, I'm focused on the business. I know that some people are asking me about if I do like if I have any course or something like that, but
Yes.
I do not. I don't think I'm gonna do one in the short term.
All
Maybe
right.
in the coming year or two. But for now, I really want to concentrate all my energy in growing as much as possible.
Yeah.
But I'm always open for any questions that people ask. Don't be shy. Send me a DM, and
All right.
I'll be happy to answer you because I understand that when you're starting in the beginning, you don't really know how
Yes.
everything works, and you need someone that's gonna give you the answers. So, yeah.
Thank you, Robert, for joining the interview today. And if you want to follow Robert on Twitter, we put his Twitter handle in the description below. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.